Hi, it's Joanne. Today we're watching The Wheel of Time, Season 3, Episode 5, Tel'aran'rhiod. I think someone said people call them TARs. You know how much I love this show. I want to say a huge thank you for the amazing response to the previous reaction. And I'm really, really anxious about this episode. I feel like last episode was a really, we only focused on some of the characters. It was a real good lore episode. I loved every second. But when you're like, something terrible is going to happen in this one because, nothing, it's not like good things happen in the previous one, but I feel like it's coming. Before I start the reaction, I do want to say a quick thing about comments and spoilers. I will say, if you are watching this and you are like me, a show only watcher, skip ahead to when the actual reaction starts. Like, scan across the bottom of the reaction until you see episode footage on there, because I am going to be confirming something that is a theory I had that has been confirmed in the comments. Now, I also want to say, spoilers ahead now, okay? Yep, good. If you're here, you've read the books, good. Now, I will start by saying this was something that occurred to me in the previous reaction, and by myself, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I feel like this could be right. And then I got a lot of people being very excited about something I'd guessed. That was completely fine. It didn't really give me any clues. Then there were some people who were saying things like, well, if you go back to season 1, episode 7, in the first scene there's a clue in the X-ray. And yeah, that doesn't give away everything, but that kind of, the show hasn't officially confirmed that. It's only on the X-ray. No one meant any harm. I'm not saying this to shame anybody. I don't think anybody I'm talking about, like, if it's you, I fully understand the excitement of wanting to share. Like, I've been there. I get it. So I do now know for certain from some things that somebody even said, you were right. Rand's mother is Tigraine from, oh my god, Andor. So I hope no one's disappointed that I'm not going to have a reaction when that is revealed in the show at some point, that I was right, oh my god, because I know I was right. I will say it felt right to me. Like, it was one of those things where the more I thought about it, I can't remember how sure I was during the reaction, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, that would make sense, because why did she say that his father was Aiel, but his mother, that was weird. And then, we know that there are red-haired ginger people in Andor, and it would be an interesting plot point with Elaine being so supportive of him and saying, Andor's always with you, if he's technically the bloodline of a rival claimant to the throne. Now, technically, he's male, so he couldn't sit on the throne, but, that would be very interesting. So I want to be honest. Also, if I ever see a spoiler, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, I didn't know that happened. I will tell you. I think this isn't a huge spoiler. Like I said, it is something I had worked out, but I will say, just be careful when you're commenting, especially if you're saying, oh, if you saw in the X-ray or in the credits, it said XYZ, because unless you happen to pause at the exact moment, the X-ray, I don't really understand the X-rays on Amazon because they're interesting, but unless you pause every 2 seconds, you're going to miss it. And I'll say that hasn't been confirmed in the show in the slightest. I guessed as a theory. It was a theory that I remember lying in bed last Thursday thinking about it because this show consumes me, and like thinking how it would make sense and it would be an interesting plot point that they could potentially explore in the future. So just, yeah, like, be careful with comments. You can say, saying like, oh my god, something you guessed was really close or was really good, like, that doesn't spoil anything, because I make random guesses all the time. Something you said was exciting, but if you kind of specify something you said was exciting and it relates to this scene in this episode, like, I think some people said, and again, no hate to anybody, they referenced the season 1, episode 7 opening with obviously Rand's mother fighting, and the scene between Egwene and Elaine and her mum. And if you put those two things together, there is only one answer. Now, again, absolutely no hate to anybody, and you are right, the information has been provided by the show, in the sense that if you read the credits, apparently it says Rand's mum's name, they use the name, but the average person hasn't read that, so just be careful when you say things, because I know no one meant spoilers. I know there was no ill intent there, but just when the show, if it ever does reveal that, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, yeah. So just, yeah, again, I hope no one's, it's fine. I'm fine. I don't think that was a massive awful spoiler or anything. My wonderful spoiler water catches all the real big bad spoilers, if there are any out there, because I haven't had anything big bad spoiled. I just really just want to just be careful with your comments. Think through, like, is this something the show itself in the episode has confirmed? And if it hasn't, then just allude to it, or don't mention it. And then when the show does get there, you can say, yes, see, you guessed it in this episode, or if you look, or the show actually had, if you just looked at the X-ray in this one and this together, then that's when you should do it. Sorry, I hope that makes sense. Time to start the episode. I'm just feeling really anxious going to this one, like terrible things are about to happen. Now obviously it was left there for when the Aes Sedai should need it, but I wonder if she was supposed to take it, or if like it should have waited for an official order. Or can she control it? Don't burn out. Good job, Lan.
What is that, Moiraine?
So is the fact that she was burning up, is that a sign that she's not quite strong enough to actually use it? It would need to be someone else?
Until the other chiefs have gathered at Al-Qayrdal.
Is Rand... Obviously don't answer me, but is Rand's father still alive? Is he out there somewhere? Because surely he can guess that, especially if the Tel'aran'rhiod arrives and he's the right age to be his son. Whoa.
Are you the Tel'aran'rhiod?
He is.
Great Mother says you...
To the child, it was almost just like something out of a story. No real understanding of the wider repercussions of it all.
I am.
Also a bit terrifying, but...
We're going to walk the dream.
Okay, good.
Will you join us?
Please, she needs to learn, and then she can frickin'... I mean, I'm worried about what she's gonna learn, to be honest, but she needs to learn it, the truth about everything. And also, if she can learn about Lanfear fucking with her inner dreams, she can fight back.
I presume you have a better handle on it now than the last time you went against me in the hall.
Fuck.
Where is Moiraine Sedai?
Oh, she knows where her weak point is, but does Siuan no longer want to cage him? Because when she briefly had Rand, that was the plan. She was going to cage him. They had him shielded in the basement until they could get around to caging him. She didn't listen to him or Moiraine. You know, even like when he went to speak to her and then he was like, wait, this isn't like an interview to see if you're going to try and like cage me or whatever. This is you've already decided to cage me. So that was her plan. Yes, he escaped, but she tried to stop it. It's not like she was kind of going, oh no, he escaped, oh dear, you know, because she was secretly wink wink Moiraine. Like, she was trying to stop him. She ordered Moiraine to not close to close the waygate, despite their love for each other, despite the fact that she was violating her in a way, you know, like all of that, because she was trying to do the right thing by the White Tower. So does Siuan now think I was wrong, I'm gonna listen to Moiraine, we're not gonna cage him? Or is it more a case of, you aren't going to tell me to cage the dragon, I'm going to do that by myself? Because I guess if she hasn't sent anybody to seek him, that would suggest she's kind of just letting Moiraine do her own thing. But it's interesting, because the last time we saw Siuan with the choice, her choice was to disregard Moiraine's advice and cage him the way that she was supposed to. So if she's now being seen as someone who doesn't want to cage the dragon, that is interesting.
I know what you are. River trash. Same as the day you walked into this tower as a 9-year-old girl, barefoot and filthy.
See, I could see Elena, if she was the one to come across Nynaeve's mentor, the wisdom, being like, oh, that poor girl, no, sorry, not enough power, she should leave, regardless of actually whether she had enough power, especially if there aren't as many women coming to the White Tower as there used to be. Surely you should be taking in anybody who comes. But instead they were like, oh no, you're poor. Like, if she came across, and then I guess if somebody else in the White Tower were to say to her, did you find a girl and send her away because she was poor? A lady would have to be like, yes, I did, unless she's secretly a dark friend. But I could see her being someone who that would be true of. It wouldn't be true of people like Siuan, obviously, because she's been that poor girl, or people like Moiraine, or some of the other Aes Sedai we've come across who are more open-minded and who are more aware that, like, power doesn't always come from the rich pampered bloodlines. But that, even the way she was just talking to Siuan, the way she's like, I still think you're river trash, you're still nothing because you were nothing when you were younger, which nonsense, I could see her having turned away Nynaeve's mentor. If she was the only one making the decision, or if it was her with other people who thought similarly.
Thank you for your time.
It's funny how some people can be born with every advantage and still become such C-words. Sorry. I don't know quite where that came from, but like, I don't like Elena. She irritates me so much. And I can't tell whether she's actually evil or whether she thinks she's doing the right thing. This is so sad.
Varen.
That would be 12 sisters. 11 attacked us that day.
So there's one still here, at least.
I'd imagine there's more than one, but...
The engine left.
Bring me the truth. So I can take Elida's head.
See, I can't quite tell whether Elida is secretly a dark friend or just someone who is so sure that her way is the right way and she knows the right thing to do for power.
You want the coffins? We better go now.
I like that she's helping. Something I've also been thinking about is my comments about someone should tell these people hunting for the horn that it's been found. It actually might not be a good idea because that might mean that they go after the horn, like, oh, it's been found, oh, it's with Matt Cawthon at the White Tower. I mean, I don't imagine they could get it from the White Tower, but they might, go after him that way because of all the riches they're going to win if they do manage to bring it back to Garion.
Death in the dream world means death here too.
Oh, good.
Close your eyes.
I see now why some people thought it was funny when I said Egwene suffered enough last season, I wanted her to spend this season having naps. This is not a stress-free nap.
So the woman who's hunting me, she can enter my dreams too.
You have power over your own dreams.
She's jealous of you.
Out.
Simply believe you are somewhere else. It is as simple as that.
In theory, is it always that simple in practice?
There?
Oh, goody. Remember, you have the power. You have the power here. Was she waiting for her to, like, willingly go into the dream
Being stalked by
world?
Who are the Shadow Salt?
Forsaken, my darling. Please talk to Rand and or Moiraine.
What if I could show you that ever since she first took the seat, she's been working to destroy this tower from within?
It's not true.
Guides us.
I suppose that's not
Understood.
technically a lie because she said,
Have you
what if I
said I-
could show you?
Thank you.
Like, what if I could show you? That's what she's been doing. Doesn't, like, what if I could?
Can your sister really do this? In her state?
My sister can do anything.
Where she keeps sneaking off to. She needs me.
Okay, so, like, that's a lie, right? She needs me. Is a lie. You can say I've been trying to find her. I don't know where she sneaks off to. It's not technically a lie because you want to know what she's up to. But she needs me isn't true, so it's a lie. But I suppose you could say Elida believes what she personally is doing is the right course of action, therefore everybody needs her, so it isn't a lie. Ugh. And covering her mouth, it's almost like she was saying, oh, don't speak of that, we don't speak of that. Like, that's not something that should be spoken freely of, which also thinks she's not a Black Archer. Or she is.
That was the only thing we promised the sail mistress in exchange for passage to Tanchico.
That's only because she didn't want Nynaeve to throw herself overboard.
Is that an option?
We stayed down
Oh,
here.
no.
I know seafoot breakers are fast, but to travel this far is impossible. Maybe I saw it wrong, maybe...
Exactly. So, let's get up into the deck and we'll figure it out.
No,
Matt, no, Matt.
I promised the sail mistress we stay.
Matt! You can find her history lessons and her geography lessons annoying. I find them fascinating. That's fine. But she's right if you make a deal with someone, especially, like, Matthew. No. Matrim. I was like, I want to long name you. Like, they might have some secret method of travel they don't want people to see, which is why they want them below decks.
Blood and ashes.
Hey! I'm just trying to stop you from dying by hanging.
The reinforcements should be here tomorrow. Ready to march on the two
Evil
rivers
men.
the day after.
March on the two rivers for what fucking crime?
I'd like to get to the truth if you'd let me.
No.
You'll cage them, kidnap and cage them, but torture? Oh no, I wouldn't. You have crossed the line, you're just pretending you haven't. I'll keep pretending if it stops them from being tortured. My god.
Why did you do that?
To try and save her babies, you monster! Yes? Rescue time, please? Surprised she doesn't have a head wound.
One of you is a witch!
It was me.
Oh my god, was it one of them? I thought it was Alana had arrived. I thought the help had arrived! Is it one of the girls?
This one's ready for your questions.
Oh, I really thought for a minute that was help arriving. She does have a head wound. So one of the girls can channel. I don't believe it was the mother.
Stealth is not my strongest suit.
You have many other strengths.
Do you know what they'll do if they even sniff a hint of channeling?
I'll create cover.
They're not a well-oiled machine anymore. He just wants to protect her, but she has every right to make this choice.
We make decisions together. We used to, at least.
Hasn't felt like much of a we lately.
Really?
This isn't the time and place,
Followed
sweetheart.
you, turn up mountain me. Why we're here?
We're here because you're not enough!
Fuck.
We don't win battles with politics and prophecies. We win battles with armies. And if no one else is going to build one, then I will.
Fuck.
The only thing I've ever cared about.
You and I, yeah.
And you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I fight for. So if you want to throw your life away like you threw away Ivan's, do it.
Fuck.
But I won't stand here and watch again. Come with me.
She has to try and put the bigger picture first. I don't like them splitting up.
I turned off the bond.
Neither of them have been this alone in forever. Because she used to keep it on with Ivan, right? So, like, she's not had it on. You two could do with some talking, please.
You're sure?
See. Ultimately, like, this is why I love them, and I don't, like, I say this bearing in mind that I don't think they're gonna get a happily ever after, okay? It hurts me. Is that they do support each other. Maybe their paths are diverging, but, like, obviously he wants her to stay. And, like, in the pilot, yeah, he was freaking upset that she didn't want a life with him and she was choosing to be a wisdom. But he ultimately did support her in that choice. She's been supporting him and his dragoning this whole time. Like, they support each other and they're there for each other. They just don't communicate with each other. And it's largely one of those sides that isn't communicating in this particular moment. Though, I mean, she could also... maybe now, if she were to say to him, I'm being stalked by a crazy Forsaken woman in my dreams, he might be like, oh, fuck. There's something I should probably clue you in on. Like, this might be a point where if she were to give him that information, he would finally confess, because... I mean, like I said, I can understand why he hasn't told her yet. He should have by this point. Like, like, I mean, again, I don't think he should have. Of course he hasn't. But, you know, like, he should have. Just because she's healed enough from the trauma she went through. It's not like right after Fawn. Yeah, sure, you're not going to tell her. But now... But I'd like to think if she were to tell him, yeah, I'm being stalked by a Forsaken woman with pale skin, piercing eyes, and dark hair, he'd be like... Who could that be? You know, he'd have to tell her. And yeah, neither of them right now are communicating. I just... Ugh. These idiots. They love each other, but I'm afraid that won't be enough. By the way, Egwene, I dated someone else for a bit. She's obsessed with me. He's not doing all right.
And everything that we've done and everything that we've lost. It's all for nothing because I won't be there.
No, it's not true. Because A, I refuse to accept this whole "Bona one of you has to die" shenanigan. And B, it's still not all for nothing, even if that is true.
I lived as if I don't.
Still disregarding this? Yep, refuse. Because 1,000 futures, that's not that many. There are other options. I still refuse to accept, okay? You're gonna live and he's gonna live. And everything's gonna be fine. And I live in my denial land. I'm so glad they have each other. Oh god. She's been drawing her vision of him. Is that to try and help her?
Nothing.
It's everywhere in the room. How did he not notice when he walked in?
Politics.
Oh, lucky here. What is this?
Oh, fuck.
Cheese and arties?
Oh my god.
I mean, what's this? What is this?
It's a sailor I met on the docks.
My visions.
Yeah, Matt. It's not you.
It's lucky for us that your visions don't really come true. I mean, I didn't kill Ran. Did I?
I mean,
I'm not going to kill myself.
You did. I love you. You did stab him with an evil dagger, and he is still being affected by it because it was bleeding again last episode. And you're not going to kill yourself, and no one else is going to hang you either. And if they do, we're going to cut you down before you die. It's all going to be okay because I live in denial land.
Unless I have to go back to that cabin.
Oh, Matt.
Please.
Matt. He's trying to act like it didn't affect him in front of her. They both know it did.
Wake up, look. Look what she's doing.
Are they travelling some sort of... Yep. That's how we travel faster.
In the tower, they say your channelers are so weak in the power they can never become full sisters.
Best to continue believing that. When you disembark. It can't be controlled. It flows.
Yeah, she's someone who likes things to be firmly in her control.
Are you one who doesn't like to give up control?
Yes.
I can see it. One of you fights to hold where you stand, while one wants to see to take her off the path that's been chosen.
Ooh.
And one of you is sissing and one is not.
She's the Amelin spy, actually.
Not a very good one if everyone knows.
Feldara.
Yep.
The bar. Can we trust her, Matt?
You can.
Yes.
Which means a lot given their history.
It's dangerous.
Oh Lord, Matt, yep.
I'll be on my best behaviour.
Come on.
Please do, Matt. We love you, but... her coming here doesn't necessarily mean she is Black Arja.
No matter how many times you ask, I believe you.
Holy shit.
I only know one other.
And I'm not like Sanjay. This is not a negotiation.
She doesn't appear to be Black Arja. Like, if she had just killed them, I could potentially see it being a Black Arja trying, like, make sure they don't talk by, like, oh, I killed them. Like, you know, oh, well, they wouldn't tell us anything anyway. But killing one of them and then getting the other one, like, torturing her so that she's aware that I will kill you if you fuck up because look what I just did, doesn't necessarily mean she's Black Arja. I think Elida is just nefarious all by herself. Like, possibly she believes her own bullshit that if she's not telling lies, then she believes she's seen a vision of how she has to save the day in the future. Was that someone else going around the back? Yep. It's another grey man. She's got her own aims. We should stop working against each other.
Perhaps I misjudged you, sister.
you have been swanning around like you're evil. And the last woman who swanned around this place acting like she would be evil was a Black Archer called Leandrin. So we had every right to be suspicious of you. I still don't trust you, but I don't like that she's so alone. And like, did Maxim tell the others he was leaving and that she's gonna be alone? Yeah, every wolf they see, I'm sure. It's totally natural.
What is it?
It's not suspicious at all.
And how to catch a woman with real power, child buyer.
When you say that last witch, does that mean Matt's mum? Or like the last one they caught? Because in the vision Nynaeve had of the alternate present, or the potential present when she was in the Archers, Matt's mum, is she called Natty or something? She had become the wisdom, which maybe she could also had a weak version of listening to the trees. Maybe it was her who channeled, not the girls.
My friends, come on, quickly. It's fine.
At the very least, he's able to save the babies.
They took her that way.
Oh god. That is what he meant by the last witch. Leave. You have to go. You can't save her. This is a trap. Oh my god, they're coming after her, aren't they? Which, of course they are, but in my head I thought they'd like catch Perrin and that, not Elena and Alana, she's alone.
Maxim.
Mm-mm. Like, how many of them are there? And the cover she's created also works against them. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
You came.
Yeah, you're torturing women and children.
You did this. I thought you were a good man. I was!
Before you.
No, sorry. That is rich. You don't get to be like, oh no, I had a sadness in my life, so now I'm not a good man anymore. That is not a thing that you get to claim, okay? Like, you could be fighting against him as a result of what he did to your dad. You could even be killing all the wolves you see if you think wolfmen are evil. Again, like, I could understand that logic. But going around keeping innocent people in cages and torturing them to death is not... Oh, well, that's because you killed my dad, so now I'm a little bit sad. So, you know, I'm sorry, Nynaeve, she can go do whatever the fuck she wants now. She can be a bad person because her parents died. Like, what are you talking about, you stupid little man? Are there any wolves alive near here? Hush. Don't be distracted, Perrin! Come on, Maxim, please still be nearby. There he is. The fog dissipating helps. Where's Valda?
You turned the bomb back on 5 hours ago.
Where's Valda? He's not dead yet. Did he come here or did he send the others? I mean, no one in the Two Rivers is going to be safe in the fucking Whitecloaks, are they?
Thought I might find you here.
Leave him alone!
You've never been here.
Also, something I wanted to say, this is a brief comment I made in the previous reaction about how it's extra creepy that she knew his ancestor. I'm fully aware that, like, the ancestor isn't his mind and his spirit, like, his soul was Luciferin at that time, but, like, biologically, if you're hanging out with someone and they're like, oh yeah, I grew up with your grandfather, I knew your grandfather when he was young, you're going to be like, oh, that's really creepy, like, that's fine. But then if they're like, let's make sex, let's make the sex, you're going to be like, that's really weird and creepy. You grew up with you were young with my grandfather. So, like, his thousands of years ago ancestor, yes, it's not his same spirit, but, like, his, like, ancestor, that is so creepy. Even creepy. I mean, the age difference itself is still creepy as it is. It would be bad enough no matter what if he was at least like mid-30s, 40s, like a grown, I mean, like, he's a grown man, but, like, you know, he's still so young. I'm 31 and Rand is 22, and I would be like, I could be your friend, Rand. I'll be like a big sister to you. You know, you're nice to look at, but I'm not going to do anything with you because you're a child. Like, it's so creepy. But the fact that, like, I wasn't saying that, I'm fully aware that his Sol was Lews Therin at the time, and now is around, and it's not with anyone else in the meantime. But the ancestor part, that is still so creepy. And this is creepy. Leave him alone. Like, one minute she's like torturing Egwene, the next minute she's creeping around. Is Egwene gonna end up here and see them together?
Thought that I had no control over my life before you released the Dark One, before you swore your oaths.
I'm not that person anymore.
You're really not.
You are?
She's not, Rand.
I see that woman in you.
You want
I
to
saw her when
see
I first
her.
met you back in Kyrie.
That's the good part of her. You want to be
You
there.
want me to be?
You wanted the world to be a better place. You wanted people to have more than they had.
She hurts people to get there, sweetheart.
I love you.
Remember who she is. Rand. He doesn't know what she's been doing to Egwene. He knows she's a Forsaken. You might be feeling vulnerable right now, but this is not okay. Your head's all messed up, young man. Snap out of it. Egwene's gonna appear, isn't she? It's like...
Can you travel with me in the dream to meet someone?
Oh.
I don't know. I might be able to.
Could you take her to Suan?
It's dangerous in Tel'aran'rhiod. What?
It's funny, don't you think? You warning me about the dangers of dreams. I remember years ago when... If the White Tower does not bend the knee to Rand al'Thor, he will lose the last battle. No, we broke what we had. Swan.
You'll always love each other.
I will find you in the next life. Again and again until we get it right.
And I will wait for you.
And she thinks she'll wait for her because she's gonna die soon. And no. You'll always love each other. Oh dear, there's no. It's like watching a car crash that's about to fucking happen.
Nynaeve?
Oh, she's trying to get to Nynaeve's dream. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Maybe this isn't a car crash just yet.
Now listen. What do you hear?
Oh.
The wind.
She dreams of her baby. In her dream, she's free. Oh, she's going around checking on everyone in their dreams, and okay, you know what? That's not a good idea. Okay, there are some people whose dreams I probably should have a do not disturb sign on right now. But Elaine's dream of being free and of not having this destiny that she has to fulfill, the path that was chosen for her before birth. A lot of the characters on the show can relate to that. She dreams of a world where she could just be with who she wanted to be who she wanted to be. The car crash is about to happen, isn't it?
You are never sleeping on the floor, ever again.
Oh. A dream where his baby sister's unsafe and his mom.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, Matt. Oh. He's never going to get to hear her say that, even if she is, even if his parents did do better, even if they did improve after what happened, after the Trolloc attack and after he left, even if that did wake them up, that they were being terrible, abusive parents, because they were. Like, he'll never know that beyond hearing it secondhand from his sisters. She'll never tell him she's proud of him because she's fucking dead. Oh, Egwene. It's kind of actually, you know what, it's invasive. It's invasive to go into people's dreams, okay? Because unless they invite you in, you probably shouldn't pop through them. And, in a way, I need the car crash to happen because it's been hanging over my head all fucking season. But I'm not ready for it to happen. And there's no time left in the episode, so the car crash is going to happen, and then the episode's going to end, and I'm gonna have to wait a week. Does he picture a life where he just got to be... Oh, Hopper!
Hopper, stay down.
Hopper! I wasn't expecting the Hopper attack! Oh, Layla's not in his dream. I was wondering if it was going to be Layla. He has moved on. That is good to know. Oh, Car Crash City! Oh, she knows she's here, doesn't she? That is so cruel to fucking end it there! To meet Egwene! Like, offensive, actually. Because I knew it was coming all episode. I mean, the fact that, like, they hang out in dreams. And also, it's so typical that, like, from what we've seen this season, Rand has relatively held Lanfear at arm's length in his dreams. Like, yeah, he almost kissed her one time and she was like, oh no, not now. But like, for the most part, he's been keeping that wall up between them. He's been able to like stay in his brain that no, this is wrong when she's gone too far. And she has been needling at him, grooming him, manipulating him, trying to get those walls down. And then, of course, what he saw in Rhuidean, seeing a glimpse of the woman she was, a woman who maybe still lusted for power, maybe she still had that grasp for power. I don't know her full story. I assume at some point the show will tell it to me. If it doesn't, when I read the books, it will tell it to me. But, you know, he's seeing this version of her that was seemingly kind and good, and all the things, all the parts of her that Rand is attracted to. Because, like, as much as when he says that is still her, and then I go, no, it's not, like, it's not because that's not all she is. It's not because that's not how she chooses to act. She chooses to hurt people, she chooses to harm people, and she's out for herself. Maybe she does want a world in which there's power for everyone, or in which the wheel doesn't keep bringing people back to suffer more, or whatever it is. But A, what the fuck does that world even look like? What does that even mean? And if you don't get to come back again in the wheel, then you don't get a chance of a better life either. And she definitely knows that that world will give her a fuck ton of power. That's the reason she's doing this. But Rand is so blinded by, I knew she could be good. I can fix her. Like, he's blinded by this belief that she could be that version. She could be that person. A person he could love. The woman she pretended to be in Cairhien is a woman he could love. But it's just, I just want to like sit him down and really talk to him. Be like, look, I know you're traumatized and young, and this is your second real relationship. But you do understand, don't you, that when someone lies to you about who they are for months of a relationship, including time where you sleep together, and they haven't told you they're actually a serial killer, it's not good, sweetheart. That is a red flag, okay? And then when you find out that not only are they a serial killer, but they're also creepily obsessed with you, even more of a red flag. I'd like to think when he finds out she has been actively torturing Egwene this whole time, he will be like repulsed and will no longer be wanting to kiss her. I don't think either if Egwene says, I saw you kissing her, she's been hurting me in my dreams, he'd go, I don't believe you, you're just jealous. If he does, I will need to have another very long conversation with him and I will not be impressed. I imagine like the Rand I know would be horrified by that, by the idea that he'd even been entertaining doing anything with her, kind of cheating on Egwene at the time, with knowledge that this woman is also hurting Egwene. It's not even just, you know, like, yes, I'm not happy that he was kissing someone else, like cheating on Egwene because they're together at the moment, but I will give like Rand like exceptional circumstances allowance where I'm not happy with him, but I am like, I understand things are messy and I need to sit down with him and have that very long conversation. But it is incredibly messed up in every single regard. Like, even the fact that like Lanfear kissing him and like starting to take his clothes off while staring straight at Egwene, like, I need, when Rand finds out this is all going on, for his reaction to be horror and like, how did I let her trick me, and not, well, you know, she's real attractive. Again, I don't know. I honestly, in my opinion, if Rand is not fine, because I'm assuming in the next episode Egwene is going to be furious with him. He's going to end up having to explain the whole story to her. I imagine she's not going to want to be with him anymore, and you know what, fair enough, I'm not putting that against her if that is the case, because I agree, it's fucking messed up. Like I said, I don't really hold anger towards him the way I would do other people in similar circumstances, because it's a hugely complicated experience, and the experience of Rhuidean and everything he went through there, and like her being like, it's very messed up. She's grooming him, but if it's somehow he finds out what she's been doing to Egwene specifically, and then his response is, well, you know, I don't really care, I'm going to be with her now, I will have to believe she's somehow using magic on him, using the power on him, because I don't believe Rand would do that. Now, I could see Rand being horrified and telling her to fuck off now, and then she continues to groom him, and down the line he succumbs to her again, because like I said, she is grooming him, and it is weird and creepy and wrong. She is a creepy fucking old lady. She does still terrify me, but she's a creepy fucking old lady. She's a pervert. I don't like her. And like, especially when I know it's the same soul as Lews Therin, but like multiple people have commented, and he is different. Like how he acts, how he views the world, it is different. So it's not like if he was Lews Therin 2.0, looked the same, talked the same, acted the same, you can understand it more. But he isn't. It's not like a reincarnation thing where it is you are the exact same person you were before. You have the same ideas and morals and opinions. He's a very, very different person. He's just the same soul. So it's creepy and it's weird and it's wrong. And I'm not happy with Rand right now, but I'm also not like gonna shame him or scream at him or say I don't like you anymore, fuck you, or anything, the way I would do if someone was cheating on somebody in most media, because this is an extremely nuanced, weird, tricky, messy, fucked up situation. Even if he was just dealing with the stresses of being the dragon, that would almost be enough of an allowance as it is. Then you take away the fact that, like, when he was incredibly vulnerable in season 2, pre-season 2, she groomed him the whole time. It was not informed consent. It was weird. It was wrong. It was disgusting. If this was happening in the real world and that was the scenario somehow, it's weird. I don't like it. It's not right. You know, everyone in his life should be telling him that. Now, who my heart is shattered for right now is Egwene, because not only did she just stumble across her boyfriend kissing somebody else, it's the woman who's been torturing her and she doesn't understand a fucking thing that's happening. Now, I do want to have a little conversation with her about, like, in general, I'm not blaming her for this because I thank God she finally knows in a lot of ways, even if this was the worst way possible for her to find out. It's not necessarily good form to go walking through people's private dreams without their consent, because that's really private. Like, what if Perrin was having a sex dream with Fael? He wouldn't want you to go wandering in, you know? Like, there's some of Matt, like the part where Matt's mum said she was proud of him, that's some of his, like, innermost insecurities and deepest familial wounds on display for you to just have a little nose through. Again, I'm not saying this with malice or with I don't like you, you nosy person. I'm just like, I know you have this power, but maybe don't do it unless you're worried about someone or you need to pass on a message. Maybe don't just go on a little swan, even though I enjoyed seeing what they were all dreaming about. But of course, the last thing she could have expected was, you know, when she first arrived, she was like, oh my god, look, it's Rand. It's on that rock that he likes to sit on and think, back at the Two Rivers, and I'd go there with him too. It was our place. That's so lovely. And then not only was he with somebody else, but it was with a Forsaken who has been fucking torturing her this whole time. My heart is so broken for her right now because, in a way, in this episode, she was in a really good place. Like, she was figuring these things out. She was putting the pieces together, you know? In some ways, it would almost be a relief that these horrendous nightmares she's having aren't just nightmares as a result of trauma. They are a targeted attack by a Forsaken, because it means they can stop. It means, yes, it's terrifying, but it does mean you can learn to control it. You can learn to stop it. You can defeat it. Whereas, you know, if it is just a nightmare you're suffering because of trauma, you're going to have to do a lot of other work to fix that. But it's one of those things where I've been dreading this all season, and I'm pretty, like, what I really want to do now is just get through next episode, get the fallout from this, get it over with, like, rip the plaster off. Like, I just, you know, when you're watching something, you're like, I'm so uncomfy for these characters right now because, oh my god, Egwene. Like, at this point, as much, like, Rand should have told her, but I say this with a full understanding of why he didn't tell her and why he would never have told her unless he had to. Like, yes, he should have told her. It would be good if he had told her, but I understand, and I talked about it in previous reactions, the reasons for why he wouldn't have told her. It's very complicated, and I think if he had a clear-cut understanding of how he felt about the Lanfear, that would also help. If he knew, well, you know, I did get with this woman, and I thought she was like this, you know, troubled, hurt, slightly older woman, but that we could both bond through our pain, and, like, I really liked her. But then I found out she was a Forsaken and now I'm repulsed by her. That would be an easier story to tell because he knows what he thinks. Whereas with Lanfear, he's all over the place with what he thinks. And there's probably those parts of him that think, well, I'm destined to go mad and evil anyway. I mean, I guess I don't know if the madness would necessarily be evil, but mad and hurt everyone. Maybe Lanfear's right. Maybe that is who I am. Like, he's got all sorts of layers of confused, complex trauma going on. So I completely, like, while I'm like, you should have told her, I get why he didn't. But it is a car crash that I've been waiting to happen. It happened, and the episode ended in the moment of impact. Okay, where's my, oh thank God we're through it. You know, like next episode they're gonna argue, like she's gonna be furious, and like I'm with her on that, okay? Because while as a viewer, as a reader, I am not a reader. I presume when I read the book they'll have similar feelings. I think it's why as a reader popped out. But like as a spectator of the show, as someone who's more aware of what Rand's going through on his own, like beyond like when you're actually living a situation, you can only really tell what someone else is going through by what you see. And from what she sees, he's just been lying to her about sleeping with a woman that's torturing her. I don't know how, like, it could go a number of ways. She could be quite understanding, but, you know, like, no matter what, it's not going to be a easy watch. And if Egwene is furious and doesn't trust him and, you know, just wants nothing to do with him, that would also make sense. Even though, like, as a viewer, I understand his position and, like, it's just not going to go well, is it? I'm stressed about that. Yeah. So, other than my stresses and my just... When Rand was saying to her, oh, but you know, that is still who you are still that good person. No, she's not. Okay, sweetheart, she's really not. She's a Forsaken, okay? She's killed a lot of people. She's hurt a lot of people. And wake up, sweetheart. You want to believe the good in people. In the same way that she wants to bring out all the darker parts of you, you want to bring out the lighter parts of her. She's got rid of them. Maybe they're in there. Maybe down the line Lanfear is going to make good choices. Maybe she meant it when she said she wanted to break her connection with the Dark One. Maybe Rand truly has made her realise she wants to do good in the world. But you know why I don't believe that is the case? She's torturing Egwene every night. A better person wouldn't. A better person might sit Egwene down and say, have you spoken to Rand? Because, you know, we did have a thing. I don't know. Like, a better person would just not be torturing Egwene every night. And so that, I just... And then we have Egwene. Dear lovely Egwene. And it's almost even worse that she came to this realisation now, because in this episode, I feel like she got a lot of her agency back. She was beginning to understand, A, this power she has that's quite unique and special, this ability she has, that she can hone and that not many people have. She was feeling a little bit unspecial in the previous season, so in some ways it's good for her to have that. But also a greater understanding of controlling her dreams, realising that maybe she can, like, with this Forsaken, like, you're finding out Forsaken is stalking you down in your dreams. It's not a good realisation, but like I said, it's a realisation that you can do something about this. You can learn to fight back. She was able to help Moiraine go and talk to Siwan, pass on this information and have this moment with her love. You know, she was able to do such a good thing there for this woman who, when she first met her, she was so awed by her power and everything, and now she's doing help for her. She was able to visit, again, I don't think you should be sneaking here, okay, but lesson to all the viewers out there, don't sneak into people's dreams without their permission, okay? Dreams are private. But, you know, she was able to kind of check in on them all and see how they're all doing. She got a little glimpse that Nynaeve still dreams of her little baby girl that she never really was, but kind of was. She got to see Elaine's desire for freedom and to get to be whoever she wanted to be. Matt reconnected with his family being safe and well cared for, and, you know, like they didn't have a worry in the world, and his mum being proud of him. Perrin having Hopper with him. The Hopper attack was not... I was not prepared for Hopper. And that Perrin had moved on. Like, I was kind of half expecting it was going to be Layla there or something, or like a glimpse of Layla in the distance. But it was 100% just... I mean, it makes sense. He is moving on. He is beginning to fall for somebody else or fancy somebody else. So, like, I'm not, like, being like, bad Perrin, you weren't dreaming about Layla. I just wasn't sure because, like, he's only just met this person, whether that would be, like, who he was dreaming about. But for Egwene to kind of see he is moving on, he is healing from that, is wonderful. And then... yeah. From, like, I'm feeling really good about life... So yeah, I need the next episode to open with Egwene confronting Rand, them to have the big fight about it, or whatever's going to happen. In an ideal world, it will be a discussion. She will be upset. He will be horrified. She will be like, okay, I maybe don't want to sleep with you tonight, but I don't hate you. We're going to just deal with stuff. You know, that is the ideal world. Thinking about the trailer, again, like, I want to be very open and honest. If I remember things, if I remember stuff from the trailer, or I've been spoiled, I haven't been spoiled anything. But there was a vision in the trailer of Rand and Egwene lying down next to each other on like a mat thing, like one of the ideal mats. And I think I even made a comment. I was like, oh my god, they're together. I'm so happy. They don't look happy to be together, but they're together. I feel like I remember like making some kind of comment like that. Which makes me think at some point they're going to go into the dream world together to confront Lanfear or to deal with something to do with that. And that's why they were lying down next to each other not looking happy. But yeah, there. It's not going to be an easy scene, but I need that initial confrontation over with, because, you know, like, I've just been feeling all season this growing sense of dread about this scene that's coming, and not dread as in it's bad writing or it's going to be bad, just dread as in it's going to be so uncomfortable because I love them so much and the situation is so horrible, and Landfear is the one most to blame for all of this. So I loved this episode for Egwene, seeing her beginning to learn and understand this new power. I thought, you know, that comment that the younger wise woman said about how she takes too much, she's too eager. That is just Egwene all over. She is so eager to learn, to understand, to grow, to grasp this power. She wants to be the best. And I don't mean that necessarily negatively. Like, she just wants to be the best she can be. Yes, she wants people to acknowledge her and to see that she's good and wonderful, but don't we all? And that's not her overriding opinion, that's just something, like, I feel like an element of her that she wants to have this be, because she can then help people. And so in this episode she was to help Moraine. She is sort of, in a way, her skipping through her friend's dreams, even helping Moraine in the first place, is her being a bit too eager here, because she's only just learning to control this power. So yeah, I just want to give her the biggest hug. How dare they end the episode like that? How dare they? I can already, like, I am mildly concerned that people are going to be hating on Rand as a result of this. And I'm like, it's not his best episode, but he's also human and being groomed. And I don't hold much blame for the victims of grooming, not for the groomer. And, you know, like I said, I need to sit down and have a conversation with the lad. Then, Matt and that lot. So, Matt's mum being dead breaks my heart for him, because he did not leave things well with her or his father. He was off helping Perrin's family escape. I presume he's still there, doesn't even know his family were taken. From what we've seen briefly, Matt's mother, Natty, she seemed to be better than she was. Like, in the first episode, she's telling Matt, oh, look, your dad's off there cheating on me. You're going to be just like him. You're going to be a fucking bastard just like him. And then one of the little girls says something to her, and she goes, oh, you fucking bitch. You know, she was not a good mother. She was neglectful. Matt was the one stealing bracelets to try and make sure he had a few pennies to buy a lantern for his sisters. Like, she was neglectful. She was verbally abusive to this family. Matt was the only protector of the girls, and so I was worried about them when Matt left, because they, like, in the same way that when Matt was younger, I imagine he didn't have anyone looking out for him. Now these two girls don't either, and that's why I think in season 1 Perrin was like, don't worry, like, my family, Egwene's family, Rand's family, they will look after the girls, they'll be okay, don't worry. Now, in the little brief glimpse we saw, the fact that Matt's father was helping Perrin's family escape is suggesting he's got his act together at least a little bit. I'd like to think the Trolloc attack and losing their children, like 4 of their children in this way, finding out they could be the dragon, that little kind of would wake you up a little bit and maybe make you appreciate the kids you still have when your other child has ridden off into the distance, never to be heard from again. Like, is he even alive? I suppose they have probably heard about him since Farn, but before then they had no sign of Matt. Like, when Perrin wrote home, it would be he was writing home asking, is Matt there? And the answer was no, so you'd be extremely worried about him. I'd like to think maybe they took more notice of their daughters, and the brief times we saw Natty with the girls, she was hugging them, protecting them, telling the soldiers to leave them alone, comforting them, trying to get this keys to help them escape. Maybe she was the channeler, like I said. It occurred to me that in Nynaeve's Archer's vision of the present, Natty had become the wisdom in Nynaeve's absence. Now, I don't know whether that actually happened, but wisdom's, I was kind of just assuming it was almost her because she was the least suited person to the job. But maybe she does have some affinity to the One Power, weak or strong, who knows? And so that's kind of why she ended up being the wisdom. And it was her, or maybe it was one of the girls. It could be, because I think, obviously, if it was her, she was fighting back to protect herself and her daughters. If it was one of the girls, and then she said, it was me, she was protecting her daughters. I guess basically, if we find out the girls can channel, then we know that it was possibly all 3 of them could, and it was her, or it was one. I almost want to go back and rewatch that scene to see if I can catch, like, where the blast came from, but I don't know. She seemed like a better parent, basically, is what I want to say. Like, she seemed like, yes, this was an extreme circumstance, but I could almost see the woman of the pilot being like curled up in the corner, being like, it's all your fault, girls, you and your brother, you hadn't done this to me, I'd be doing something, you know, like I could see her kind of retreating inward, but it seemed like she'd got her act together, and it breaks my heart for Matt, not only that she's dead, because that is devastating, but that he'll never get to see that. He'll never get to see that she did try, that she was doing better and being a more active parent. He'll never get to hear her say, I'm proud of you, even if she is. And I think if she had turned her life around and was being a better parent, she would be proud of him. That's especially heartbreaking. And he doesn't know. He has no idea any of this. And then he saw Min's picture and he knows the thing. Now, I don't think Matt would kill himself. Like, I don't think Matt would be like, I don't think Matt's depressed enough to kill himself right now. I hope he never is. I could see somebody else hanging him, or somebody manipulating him into hanging himself. Like, either the softly woman or Leandrin or someone using some kind of on him to make him do that. I could see somebody else putting the noose around his neck and hanging him. Like, in the vision, it wasn't super clear. And, you know, Min's vision of him killing Rand, he stabbed him, and then in reality, he threw a spear that had a dagger on the end at him. So, like, her visions aren't always, they came true, but it wasn't in the 100% same way. So, like, we don't know all the ins and outs of it, and there is no proof that she's not going to cut him down immediately afterwards. But yeah, he kind of really played it off as being glib and like, oh yeah, you see, your visions are rubbish because you said I'd kill Rand and I didn't, ha ha ha, yeah. And then she kind of went, yeah, I agree, mate, not gonna happen. And then he rolled away so she couldn't see him and looked all stressed and worried about it. And then they saw the person hanging and it was a noose and it was stressful. I'm glad she's here and wants to protect him, but I'm stressed. The comment about how Nynaeve wants lots of control and she's like, you know, she needs all the control and so she's too rigid, and Elaine wishes the sea would wash her away to a different future, a freer future, was very, very interesting. I'm hoping that this discussion of Nynaeve being too rigid, too determined to have control, and too wanting, like, I'm going to use the power now and I'm going to use it, I really hope that's going to help Nynaeve begin to understand this block she has, because she needs to, and she has such brilliant power within her. I really like to believe that she could. I think there is still that part of her that's fighting the power, maybe even fighting the fact that having this power is almost taking her choices away from her in other ways. I hope she's going to figure it out because I love her and it's hurting her to not be able to figure it out. Now, I think Elaine's geography lessons were very interesting. Okay, I would have listened to her talking about them. I found it interesting and useful. You're going to a city that you've never been to before, and it apparently is a very unique city. It doesn't operate like your average city. It's extreme. There are certain things you shouldn't do. I think we should be listening. Min is going to be useful, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm very stressed about that. I trust the four of them. I love the four of them. I'm stressed for the four of them. And then if we to the two rivers. Okay, Alana and Maxim stressed me out. I feel like they both, like, they clearly do love each other, but I think they're really struggling to deal with this new normal because their whole trio was Ivon and Alana were water and Aes Sedai in love, a couple. Maxim and Ivon fell for each other too. Maxim joined. And while, yes, the three of them loved each other, yes, the three of them had some fun times, Maxim was always a little bit more removed, and Ivon and Alana were closer in the sense that, like, he didn't have the bond on most of the time. She always had the bond on with Ivon. Like, that was just, it worked for them. No one was a third wheel, no one was left out, but that was kind of, Ivon was the connecting tissue. And so him being gone, their shared love for him is still there, but they don't work in the way they used to. The person that used to ground them isn't there anymore. And that is such an impossible thing to deal with. And I think, you know, it's definitely true that Alana pulled back. She's not sharing as much with him. She didn't explain with him why they're going here. She didn't ask him if he was okay with going here. She just took him to the Two Rivers. He's also pulling back and blaming her for not grieving properly or not feeling enough. They're both not doing well. You know, when she said, you're not enough, she didn't mean that as in, you personally aren't enough as a warder. You're not as good as Ivon. I think she meant it as in, you're one man. I need a whole army. In the same way that when Moiraine said to Lan, like, we were never equals. It was, you know, mate, she thinks that she was not as good as you. She doesn't think you're not as good as her. And then, you know, his comment to her about how she's not, oh my god, what did he say? I remember it was something, he said something, I can't think how he phrased it now. Oh, that's going to annoy me. I can't remember, I'm so sorry. But like, they both kind of said some slightly hurtful things. He's not entirely wrong in wanting to go and find Leandrin, but I think Alana's right. This idea of we need an army, the Two Rivers is where these 5 to Vernon came from. They're going to be important. This is a place. I mean, again, I don't necessarily think that that means these random farm people will be brilliant warriors without any training, but she's not entirely without, it's not the worst theory in the world. I think she just felt like she needed to do something. I almost think they needed to have that moment, that argument, that kind of bearing of their souls, because they were both snapping at each other and or keeping their real thoughts in. So now they've expressed it, and then of course he came back for her. I was thinking, like, is she gonna let the bond down? And he did, and so now I guess they'll stay together and he won't go off anywhere. Perrin is pretty injured. So is Alana and Maxim. I think the girl's name is Fael. If it's not, I'll figure it out eventually. They think, because if these names are like unique fantasy names and then they say them so quickly and then I see them written down and I'm like, Faile, how do you say that? So I'm saying Fael for now. She seems great. There's still that part of my brain that's like, is she a dark friend? Is she a Forsaken? But you know, she seems great. Good for Perrin. He needs to not get distracted though, given what happened the last time he was in a battle in this area of the world in particular with a woman he had feelings for, even if he's only just getting feelings for her and he was married to his wife. Like, yeah, he's gonna be concerned. Now, old Whitecloak blondie man, pissing me off. Like, you don't get to say, I was a good man until you. I'm sorry, if you're only a good person until that is tested, you're not a good person. If you're only a good person when everything is easy and everything's coming up roses for you, you're not a good person. Nynaeve, her parents died. She's still a good person. Lots of people, Perrin's wife died. Hopper died. He's still a good person. Now, I obviously do think Perrin has been grappling with, as much as like I've glibly been like, yeah, it's fine that he killed that Whitecloak. Him killing Blondie's dad, Bornholm, whatever his name was, obviously wasn't good. It wasn't a good choice, but it was an understandable choice in a lot of ways. It was a heat of the moment battle bloodlust kind of situation. In an ideal world, the guy would have gone to like face some kind of trial. He probably wouldn't have got much time because he killed a wolf that was attacking a comrade. Like, people would be like, so who cares? You know, like by an ideal world, but in the real world, he'd get some kind of justice. But you know, it was a battle, it was a war, and he had just killed Perrin's friend. Even if he just thought it was a wolf, he had still just killed Perrin's friend. So yes, killing in revenge isn't justice, it isn't good. It's probably one of the darkest things Perrin has ever done. It doesn't give Blondie the right to go around torturing people and becoming child Varga, oh my god. Evil bitch faces, little minion. And where was Evil Bitch Face as well when this was all happening? Like, I need him to die, preferably at the hands of a wolf, because I want the last thing he sees to be someone that looks like Hopper, okay? But yeah, that idea of, oh yeah, I was a good person until you, fuck off. Like, yes, you have every right to be angry at Perrin, even to come to the Two Rivers looking for Perrin. That is all, given that, you know, Perrin killed your father and the commander in the Whitecloak, fair enough, you're going to come looking for him. But you don't get to act like this, and you don't get to act like, oh yeah, so like, you're the reason I killed that woman. No, you are the reason that woman is dead. You made this choice. Like, she tried to get the keys from you to save her daughters, and somebody used the one power to stop you bashing her head against the cage, and your response is, oh, you can torture her to death now, I don't give a shit. I'm worried for Perrin because the last time we saw him, he was lying in the middle of the Whitecloak tents, stabbed. But I have to believe the fact that he was dreaming his nice little dream means they got to safety. But the danger is still present. The Whitecloaks are getting reinforcements. Old Bornholm's, she didn't hit him in the heart. He's probably still alive. Vader, Varga, bitch face, is still out there. It's stressful. I don't, like, the Whitecloaks, he's already been talking about coming for the Two Rivers. What fucking right do they have to do that in the first place? The Two Rivers is going to have to become an army to defend themselves because no one else is coming, and we know from the days of Manetheren that no one else will come even if they ask for help. They're going to have to fight off the Whitecloaks, but will the Whitecloaks ever stop? Or will they, if it gets back to Whitecloak headquarters, oh, we sent Whitecloaks to the Two Rivers and they all died, surely the Whitecloaks headquarters would be like, well, the Two Rivers must be full of evil people and send even more? Or will, if they manage to kill Wandy and Bitchface, will they be like, oh, they're the only two that actually wanted to do this, so the rest of us are going to go deal with our other problems? Like, Whitecloaks, there are actual Forsaken running around trying to free the Dark One and get him to help break the world. Like, you really have bigger problems you could be dealing with than women with a bit more power than you, okay? So can you please just deal with yourselves? Okay, this reaction unedited is 1 hour and 50 minutes-ish at the moment, so I'm starting to get a sore throat from talking so much. This was such a good episode, but I'm still, you know, like, I need the confrontation between Egwene and Rand to be over with. I just need to, like, rip off that plaster and just be done with it. And things won't, I'm not saying that, like, they'll have the initial confrontation and then things will be easy. But, you know, like, I just need the car crash to fit. I just need it to be done. I just want to get to the other side of it, okay? I'm stressed. Fantastic episode. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.